program. Mister, get in there. Come on, mister. But we get all of our Belgian draft horses from an Amish community up in Sugar Creek, Ohio. We've actually been working with the same family up there for the past 20 plus years. We have an outstanding relationship with them. But as far as our horses' day-to-day lives here go, they've got it pretty easy going. These guys only have to work about 4 to 8 hours a week. On top of those really part-time hours, they get really full-time benefits. Or in addition to regular medical checkups and dental, these guys all have their own requirements.
That horse on the right there, like, looks kind of like a big spotted cow. That's my favorite trail horse. We got Wesley behind it. And big man Turbo on the back. Munching a little bit. You might notice that a lot of our trail horses are a little bit on the larger side. Not just height, but also width-wise as well. But actually, most of that is because they are draft crosses. So Turbo, the guy that's acting up in the back there, he's half Clydesdale. And then Fletcher, second from the front, he's half spotted draft. So we use a lot of draft horses and draft crosses in our pro program just because, as you're seeing up here, they're very small. Those are actually set up this time of year almost every day for weddings. That's actually our biggest source of revenue on the property nowadays, weddings. We have anywhere between 9 and 13 venues on the property. And at our peak, we can host 6 weddings a day on the estate. There's actually a couple going on tonight.
We actually saw a bride earlier.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's always really nice when we're out here. Because, like, usually what they'll do is they'll use it as a reception. So a lot of times you'll see the bride just, keep in mind, we're almost a mile away from the house right now. You'll see the bride because, I mean, you just can't miss her. Like out on the South Terrace, walking around, getting photos, things like that. So it's really nice to see. Also, they used to do, and we're hoping they bring it back, summer concert series on that South Terrace, which would be really nice out here too. Yeah, I want to say, I mean, it wasn't used for horses much longer than maybe, I want to say probably up to 1916, maybe even a couple years. That's one of George's big things. I will say, I'd mentioned to these guys, but I don't know if everybody else had heard, I talked about how George Vanderbilt hated cars. Well, part of the reason he hated them is because his family made all their money in railroads, and vehicles and cars were taking money away from them at the time. So it was kind of one of the things where he didn't hate them, but he couldn't afford to let the paparazzi see him in a car. All that changed in, I think, 1912, 1911, a couple years before he passed away. He actually went on a European road trip with a lot of his cousins and family friends. And before he had even got back to the States, he had already bought 3 cars and had them shipped to his house. Which is actually one of the reasons that the Biltmore Estate had the first paved roads in Asheville, just for George Vanderbilt to drive around on a smooth surface. So people know about it. If you've been to the winery, they talk about it a lot. The winery used to be the milking facility. Everything up here, this is where all the baby cows are born. So across the street, we have the Deer Park restaurant. That was the old calving barn. And what would have been here in this open field where these 2 horses were grazing would have been about 10 structures that were called calving barns. And that's where they would have been bottle feeding all the babies. So this house, this was built for people to bottle feed the babies early in the morning, to look after the baby cows and the moms. And then the barn up there, that was one of about 7 barns that were just like it, that were food storage barns. So they would have put about 4,000 bales of hay in there, spread of bales at the time. You can find photos of just, I mean, hay is bursting out of every scene of the barn. It's everywhere. And then 2 large grain silos in either end. A good way to tell if there's a historic barn on the estate though, and you'll see it on the front side of this barn, is there's a red lion crest that's painted on it. That's actually the family symbol for John Cecil, George Vanderbilt's son-in-law. And the reason we paint his family crest on there and not George Vanderbilt is because even though George started the dairy, John Cecil was the one that really brought it to its ordinary and is responsible for keeping the estate afloat. So the homage to him, we paint that on any historic agriculture building. That is pre-1960. So if you ever see that paint on something, that denotes it. Although although this farm we have upgraded it recently, so the stalls were a new addition, and originally this farm would have had big open bays on either side, and now we get this truck to drive in, unload eggs. And then if you go up, you can see this big pulley system, and that would have actually been to pick up these giant bales of hay or big straw racks. Now they actually would have used teams of mule to do that. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
He said he wears a 12 size shoe.
Junior, make the choices. Boy.
Junior and Mr., right?
Yes, Junior and Mr. Yep, this is their last ride of the day. Now they get to go and get untacked, get to go run, play with their friends at pasture. Right. Yeah, most of the time when we let them out to pasture, it's very anticlimactic, very, you know, whoa. Mister, you know better than that. But, yeah, very much so, like, just walking. Sometimes it's really cool and they'll actually run and it's like thundering hooves out to pasture, but that's kind of a rare occurrence.